Hello and welcome again to another culture activity. We are so excited to offer this opportunity virtual to all of those out there. Today what we're going to be making is a beaded ornament, so looking something like this or this. You can choose your colors. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, or afterwards, if you'd love to share your artwork, please feel free to shoot me an email listed here below. Okay, so now we're gonna jump forward. Again, this color has changed, this pattern has changed, and you'll see some areas where I have little juju beads, and that's okay. That happens where sometimes you get in a hurry and you might miss a bead or have a different color bead. But once you get to 11 loops, I want you to work down and then work back up, and now we're gonna create our 12th loop. So notice I have my seed bead there. I'm gonna do one bugle bead. I'm gonna pull it all the way down, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna connect our loop 11, 12, and 1 all together, okay? So it's gonna be a little tricky, but we have it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add 4 seed beads, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go through 5, 6, 7. I will say this is probably one of the most difficult parts of the ornament, and so it's okay if we get lost, just take your time. Now we're gonna try to continue that top, so we're gonna add 4 more seed beads, not 8 like we normally would. We're gonna add 4 more, and we're gonna connect to this side. And so if we wanna look at it, we can fold it in half, and then we need to recognize that we're gonna go down this side. So we're gonna go down 5, 6, 7, kind of on the opposite side. So this is my very first loop, and I'm going down beads 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so see that? So I connected my loop 12 to loop 11 by 5, 6, 7, but now I added 4, and I'm going back down my first loop. And this is gonna create a little topper for us. And now we're gonna add 2 more seed beads. And sometimes I find it helpful to put the ornament on it so we can see what we're working with. So the goal is to connect the sides. And so here is our last loop. So I put 2 seed beads on. And I'm gonna go down beads 1 and 2, okay? It's gonna look a little wonky for a bit, but that is okay. I wanna make sure that line gets over the, I'm gonna pull it, pull it, pull it, so it's tight, tight, tight. And what you should have is you should have 12 loops across the top. And we can lay it flat to work on connecting them. All right, so there's all 12 loops. And it should hang nicely over our ornament with the 12 loops intact. Okay? And now what we're gonna do is we're going to connect the sides. We're gonna like zigzag back and forth. So I'm gonna do this the best way I can. Remember, this is kind of the most tricky part, so don't get discouraged, keep trying. So we're gonna do our same pattern. We're gonna add a bugle bead, 3 seed beads, 1, 2, 3, a bugle bead, 1 seed bead. And remember, we're at the top, so we're working our way down, but this time we're gonna connect to the opposite side, okay? It's gonna look a little wonky, stay with me. We're gonna connect, so notice our thread is coming right here, out. We're gonna connect to this side, we're gonna go through that middle white bead. It's gonna take me a minute to get it. I like to work on the ornament. I think it helps me visualize better, but if you work better with it being flat, that's okay too. And notice our tail is a little bit in the way, but that's okay. We're just gonna ignore it. I got a little tangled there, just pull it. Okay, so our tail, I'm gonna move out of the way. And there is our first side connected. Now we're gonna connect to the other side. So we're gonna add a seed bead, bugle, 3 seed beads, bugle, 1 seed bead. And this time we're gonna connect to this bottom because we're creating this closure of diamond. So this is our very bottom one. We're gonna go through the white one. It's the opposite side of what we connected first. And you're gonna say, this looks strange. I have some extra room. You do have extra room. That's okay. There's a big gap here. We're gonna fill that in. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of do one at a time. So we're gonna finish this bottom loop and work our way back up. So we're gonna add 1 seed bead, a bugle, 3 seed beads because we're doing that bottom loop, a bugle, and 1 seed bead. And our goal now is to connect back to right there. See how I like lined it up and I can see where I'm working? Sometimes you just gotta see where you're working. And we're gonna go through this middle. So notice each time we're just going through the middle, going through the middle. And that's gonna end our bottom loop. Okay, now we're gonna tighten all that up. So we're gonna connect all these little wonky areas. So we're gonna do 1 seed bead, bugle, 1 seed bead, and remember if you get stuck, just rewind it, watch again. And we're gonna connect to this area right here that looks a little wonky for us. So we're gonna kind of zigzag back and forth. We're gonna connect this one, and this one. And we're working our way up, so make sure we always go up through the middle seed bead. If we go down through the middle seed bead, it'll show us in our work that something got a little confusing, okay? So notice that X right there is finished. Now we still have this, and you can kind of pull it a little tighter to help you. Now we still have this area that's a little open. So we're gonna do 1 seed bead, bugle, 1 seed bead. We're gonna work our way up and connect to this white one. I'm gonna rearrange my ornament. We're gonna go up through this white one. And notice how my thread is underneath. I'm gonna move it on top. If that happens, you might just get a tangle. And you can always take your ornament off and lay it flat as well. It's a little bit trickier for me, but for some people it might be helpful. Notice how it's just kind of creating a circle. Perfect. So for this one, I'm gonna add 1 seed bead, a bugle, and 1 seed bead. And I'm gonna go up through this white one because that's the only area where I'm recognizing, okay, there's not a cross there. And so I'm gonna put it back on my ornament, how we had it a minute ago. Remember my tail's in the way, just ignore it. I'm gonna go up through that white one. I'm gonna pull, pull, pull. And then all of the X's are completed. Something that we wanna look for is that each loop should have 2 bugles coming out of it, and this one doesn't. So we're gonna wrap that up and finish that one area. I'm gonna add a seed bead, a bugle, and we're gonna go back up through where our tail's at, and that will end our ornament. Because each, I'm gonna take it off. I'm gonna put my fingers in it because there's a little knot there from the beginning, so it can get a little tricky. Go back up through it. And now our ornament is kind of, our collar on top of our ornament is completely finished. I'm gonna lay it back over, and you can see it dangle from side to side. Yeah, and so this is the end of our tutorial. On these, I did show you that we can connect the bottom all the way around to make it secure on the ornament. And basically how you do that is you just take your fire line and you run it through the bottom 3 and pull it tight. Run it through the bottom 3 and pull it tight all the way around, and that will, and you can add a couple seed beads in between there if you see any gaps, but that will make it secure on your ornament. And in this final little area, we'll just tie a little knot. I'm just going to take my needle under. And the thread is underneath. And just tie a knot, and then it is secure, and you can hide your thread down into your ornament if you want extra. But that is our tutorial today.